Chosen one, this message has reached you at the perfect time. No accidents, no coincidences. This is divine timing at work. There's a divine move in motion, a sacred orchestration from heaven that's preparing to change the very direction of your life. God has seen your isolation, your strength, and your loyalty, even when it felt like no one noticed your worth. You've endured seasons of loneliness, not because you were unworthy of love, but because the kind of love meant for you could not be rushed. You weren't just being hidden, you were being preserved. Now, hear this clearly. God is sending someone into your life. Not just any person, but a soulmate, a destiny partner, a person of means, maturity, and mission. Someone wealthy, not just in finances, but in faith, character, and understanding. And yes, they will uplift you. They will not compete with you. They will cover you, protect your heart, and pour into your vision. They will relocate you, not just physically, but spiritually and emotionally into a realm you've never known before. Let's go deeper. Before we go any deeper, take a moment to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. This is a divine message that every chosen one needs to hear. If your spirit is stirred by what you've heard so far, if something deep within you feels like this message was meant just for you, drop the number 77 in the comments. That number isn't random, it's a prophetic signal to heaven and earth that you are in alignment with your divine destiny and ready to receive the love and abundance God has set aside for you. This message isn't for everyone. Only those truly chosen will stay until the very end, and those who do will begin to feel a shift. Clarity will increase, confirmation will rise, and the hidden blessings tucked inside this word will begin to unlock. This is sacred wisdom, and like all divine revelations, it unfolds over time. Revisit this video as often as your spirit leads you to. Each time you return, you'll hear something new, feel something deeper, and see something more clearly. Because this message is a spiritual seed, and as you keep watering it with faith, it will bloom into manifestation. Your wealthy soulmate is not just on the way, they're being prepared for you, just as you've been prepared for them. Stay open, stay aligned, and stay ready. Chapter 1. The season of isolation had a purpose. There were seasons where silence echoed louder than applause, moments where you questioned if you were forgotten, while others celebrated engagements, promotions, and visible progress. You were behind the scenes, grieving, growing, and grinding through invisible battles. You weren't building with hands, but with faith. You weren't surrounded by people, but you were surrounded by God. And that's what made all the difference. You weren't being punished, you were being prepared. God intentionally pulled you into a season of separation, not because you weren't worthy of connection, but because He needed to detox your soul from everything that tried to convince you that you were less than. He needed to rewire the way you viewed yourself, others, and Him. In isolation, distractions faded, the noise quieted, and your true essence began to rise to the surface. In your solitude, your spiritual sight sharpened. You learned to read between the lines, to feel what wasn't being said, to sense what others tried to hide. You learned the weight of presence, both God's and your own. You discovered what peace really feels like. Not just peace that comes from calm circumstances, but the unshakable peace that comes from internal alignment. You stopped chasing what was never meant for you. You stopped entertaining relationships that only loved your potential but couldn't handle your process. You no longer long for surface-level connection. You crave soul-deep alignment, You realized that it's better to walk alone in truth than to be surrounded by people who drain your spirit. Your isolation was heaven's classroom. You were being taught how to recognize counterfeits, not just in people, but in opportunities, mindsets, and systems. The old version of you would have settled for a smile that hid a lie, a compliment that camouflaged control, or an opportunity that promised success but cost your soul. But the new you see clearer, you feel deeper, you know better. God had to separate you to sanctify you, to teach you what real love feels like, starting with His, to show you what real joy is, even when the bank account was low or the bed was cold, to awaken you to a life not driven by approval, but purpose. And now, you're not just healed, you're wise. You're not just standing, you're rooted. You're not just waiting, you're prepared. You're ready to walk with someone who doesn't just admire your glow, but understands the fire it took to create it. You're ready to build with someone who won't mishandle your softness or mock your strength. You've become the type of person your younger self prayed to become. And now, heaven is aligning you with someone who's done the same. This wasn't isolation. This was incubation. And now, the time of unveiling has come. Chapter 2. The soulmate coming is wealthy in spirit and resources. You've been through enough to know the difference between appearance and substance. You've encountered people who wore the right smile but carried the wrong spirit. You've seen charm with no commitment, gifts with no giving heart, and promises that dissolved quickly. That wasn't just disappointment. It was divine training. Every counterfeit that entered your life sharpened your discernment and expanded your capacity to recognize what's real. Now, God is sending someone refined by both favor and fire. Someone who's walked through their own wilderness and pruning. They don't just bring prosperity, they bring maturity. Their resources are just a piece of their wealth. Their true richness lives in their wisdom, their peace, and their purpose. They've built quietly. They've warred in prayer. They've walked away from the crowd to walk closer with God. Their presence brings clarity, not confusion. Their spirit brings peace, not pressure. They're not here to impress you. They're here to join you, to complement your calling, to stand beside you in purpose and in promise. They understand sacrifice. They've said no to distractions. They've walked alone until divine timing aligned their path with yours. When they meet you, their spirit will know, just like yours will. They're not coming with ego, but empathy. Not with empty talk, but tested truth. Your strength won't scare them. It will draw them in. Your light won't intimidate. They'll help you expand it. When they pour into you, it'll come from overflow, not obligation. They understand love is more than feeling. It's a divine function. They won't waste your time or toy with your heart. They've made peace with their past and are fully present for the future, with you in it. You won't need to shrink to keep them. You won't have to explain why you guard your peace or protect your energy. They'll understand because they've had to do the same. They've fought battles you'll never see and will recognize the warrior in you instantly. Their financial abundance isn't the prize, it's part of God's plan. A divine tool to fund vision, support mission, and unlock doors poverty tried to shut. They steward wealth with wisdom and won't use it to control, but to build. You're not being sent a savior, you already have one. You're being sent a partner, a kingdom builder, a spiritual equal. Someone who doesn't just match your pace, they match your purpose. And together, you won't just build a life, you'll establish legacy. This isn't just the start of a love story, it's the next chapter in your divine assignment. Heaven has orchestrated this moment. Now that you've matured and aligned, you're ready for a love that multiplies your impact and magnifies your mission. This is divine timing. This is destiny, and it's right on schedule. Chapter 3. Relocation is part of your destiny. There comes a point in the life of every chosen one where God says, "You cannot stay here." Not because the current space is evil, but because it is no longer enough. What once nourished you has become limiting. The soil that once helped you grow has now become shallow for your roots. And so the stirring begins. Subtle at first, a nudge in your spirit, a whisper in prayer, a growing discomfort in what used to be familiar. But soon it becomes undeniable. God is calling you to move. This is not just relocation. It is divine repositioning. It is heaven rearranging your physical space to match your spiritual elevation. The place where you currently live may have witnessed your growth, but it cannot contain your next dimension. You were never meant to stay confined in a place that stifles your creativity, dampens your fire, or keeps your wings clipped. This move may be geographical, but it's also spiritual. A shift in atmosphere, a shedding of old mindsets, a departure from expired environments, toxic attachments, and invisible ceilings. God is calling you into new territories, not just to bless you, but to use you. The person coming into your life may be the divine bridge to this new space. They carry both the vision and the resources to transport you into purpose. They don't come empty-handed. They come divinely equipped, prepared, and appointed for such a time as this. But whether the relocation comes through a person, a job, a divine prompt, or a sudden opportunity, trust that it is God's doing. Nothing is random when His hand is guiding it. Yes, it may feel uncomfortable. Yes, you may mourn what you're leaving behind. But remember, Abraham had to leave his homeland before he became the father of nations. Joseph had to be repositioned in Egypt before he became a ruler. Ruth had to follow Naomi into a new land before destiny aligned her with Boaz. And like them, you too are being pulled into something far greater than what you're leaving behind. What you're stepping into isn't just a change of scenery, it's a change of season, a divine upgrade. The doors are opening to a space where your spirit can expand, where your gifts can flow freely, and where your voice can echo in rooms designed for your anointing, rooms that were built with you in mind. This isn't instability. This is divine mobility. This is heaven shifting your coordinates, because where you were can no longer hold who you're becoming. You are not being uprooted to be lost. You are being replanted to flourish. You are being placed in fertile ground. You are being relocated to rise asterisk. Get ready to breathe again, to dream again, to love in new ways, live with new freedom, and build with renewed faith. The new land will feel unfamiliar at first, but your spirit will recognize it, because it's already been written in your destiny, sealed with divine fingerprints, and prepared just for you. Chapter 4. God is matching purpose with purpose. This next move in your life is not just about falling in love. It's about divine alignment. God is orchestrating a union not based on preference alone, but based on purpose. A meeting of two souls who have each been prepared in the fire of transformation, refined by pain, elevated through obedience, and kept hidden until the appointed time. Your soulmate is not just someone who will love you. They are someone who will understand the weight of the call on your life. This connection is about assignment, not attachment. Mission, not just emotions. You were not created to merely build a house. You were created to build a legacy. And for that kind of legacy, God is sending someone who has been on their own journey of self-discovery, healing, and preparation. They know that love, when it's aligned with divine purpose, has the power to shift nations, not just hearts. They know the silence of being misunderstood. They know what it feels like to be overlooked while being overqualified. They know how to pray in the dark and how to trust God even when the blueprint was blurry. They carry oil, they carry vision, they carry power. And now, God is bringing the two of you together to multiply what you both carry. Together, you'll walk in divine authority, your steps guided by heaven's hand. This is not about ego, it's about edification. You won't have to minimize your power to make them feel strong. They won't shrink when your light shines. They'll glow with you. They'll be proud to serve beside you, not behind you. And you'll celebrate them, not just as a lover, but as a co-builder of destiny, a true partner in every sense of the word. Together, you'll build businesses, ministries, healing spaces, homes soaked in prayer, and children raised in wisdom. You'll speak life into each other when the warfare is heavy. You'll anoint each other's hands before every meeting, every launch, every leap of faith. You'll remind each other that the kingdom comes first and that everything you build must reflect His glory, grace, and truth. Every project, every dream will be birthed in the Spirit before it's manifested in the natural. They won't compete with your calling. They'll complement it. They won't be intimidated by your influence. They'll protect it. They won't see your vision as too big. They'll call it blessed, because they've seen what it means to birth something great too. And they've been praying for a partner who could handle both the beauty and the burden of greatness. Together, you'll leave a legacy that will echo through the ages. This is the kind of relationship where purpose meets purpose, where your anointings collide like flint to flame, igniting territories, freeing others, shifting atmospheres. People will look at the two of you and sense something sacred. Not just chemistry, but calling. Not just love, but legacy. Your union will be a testament to divine timing, a beacon of hope for those waiting for their own purpose-filled partnerships. This is not just a chapter of companionship. It's the launching of a spiritual dynasty, and heaven has endorsed it. Chapter 5. You won't have to force this connection. There's a different kind of peace that comes when God writes the love story. It doesn't come with second-guessing, sleepless nights, or emotional confusion. When it's from God, it flows, it aligns, it carries confirmation after confirmation. You won't have to manipulate, perform, or beg to be seen. When the right one comes, you'll be received exactly as you are, because God already spoke your name to their spirit. This next connection won't come dressed in chaos. It won't feel like a constant question mark. It won't drain your soul or leave you wondering if you're too much. No, this time it will come with clarity, with a settled heart, with the kind of peace that silences every previous storm. You won't have to chase. You won't have to convince them to value your presence or see your worth. They will recognize your spirit before they even understand your story. They'll see the hand of God on your life before you even speak your testimony. This is not about compatibility based on looks or lifestyle. This is about divine design, a connection authored by the Creator Himself. There will be mutual pursuit, not pressure, mutual effort, not exhaustion, mutual growth, not constant fixing. You will feel safe, not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually, and energetically. They will understand your boundaries, honor your sensitivity, and respect your healing journey. Why? Because they've been on their own. They'll ask the deeper questions. They'll want to know your heart, not just your history. And when you speak, they'll listen, not to respond, but to understand. You'll pray together, heal together, laugh deeply, grow freely, love openly, and build what neither of you could have done alone. The kind of connection God sends won't require you to sacrifice your peace for the sake of partnership. It won't ask you to shrink your light to preserve their ego. It won't come dressed in confusion pretending to be passion. It will be gentle. It will be sacred. It will be undeniable. And even if the relationship leads you far from familiar places, even if it requires relocating, rebuilding, or releasing what's comfortable, it will still feel like home. Because home is not always a place. It's alignment. It's the presence of divine peace wrapped in the form of a person. And you'll know it when you feel it. So let this be your reminder. Anything that must be forced, explained repeatedly, or begged for is not from God. When it's truly for you, it won't bypass you. When it's time, it will enter your life with grace, timing, and confirmation. Rest in that truth. Heal in that truth. Wait in that truth. Because what's for you is not running late. It's being prepared. Chapter 6. Your value will be honored, not overlooked. For far too long, you've been surrounded by people who didn't know what they were holding. People who enjoyed your presence, but didn't understand your essence. They loved your light, but they didn't know how to protect it. They drew from your well without ever asking how deep your waters ran. And for a while, you began to wonder if maybe your value was invisible, if maybe your sacredness was too much for this world. But the truth is, your worth was never the issue. The problem was their capacity. They were not equipped to see the fullness of who you are. You were a rare treasure placed in the wrong hands, a sacred soul planted in temporary soil. But even in all the mishandling, you didn't lose your light. You just became more aware of who's truly worthy of your presence. The people who didn't understand the depth of your soul didn't have the ability to honor it. And now, God is positioning you for those who do. And now, God is sending someone different. Someone who doesn't just admire your strength. They understand the price you paid to carry it. Someone who doesn't just compliment your spirit. They honor it. This soulmate will not be blind to your brilliance. They will cherish the way you speak life, the way you show up for others, the way you lead with grace and love with depth. They will not just see you as a person. They will see the divine purpose that moves through you. They will notice the small things, your silent prayers, your thoughtful sacrifices, the way you always put others first, the wisdom in your silence, the fire in your faith. They will see your beauty, not just in your appearance, but in your character, your consistency, your conviction. You won't have to convince them of your worth. It will be obvious to them, because God will reveal it. They'll know exactly who you are, because their spirit will recognize yours. And when they show up, they won't take from you to feel powerful. They will pour into you so that your cup never runs dry again. They will speak to the king or queen in you, not because you asked them to, but because they recognize what you carry. This love will be healing, affirming, restorative. It will remind you that you were never too much. You were simply too sacred for people who didn't know how to handle holy things. Your new chapter will not be built on performance or pretense. It will be built on mutual respect, divine timing, and deep spiritual awareness. You'll feel safe in their presence. You'll feel seen without having to shout. You'll be valued, not just for what you do, but for who you are at your core. You won't have to shrink to fit into anyone's expectations. You will be allowed to rise and grow as the person you were always meant to be. This time, you won't have to hide your power to keep peace. You won't have to water yourself down to feel wanted. This time, your light won't be treated like a burden. It will be honored as the divine gift that it is. Chapter 7. Get ready to receive what you prayed for. There were nights when your heart felt heavy with unanswered prayers, moments when you whispered into the darkness, "God, do you hear me?" You didn't just want love, you wanted divine alignment. You weren't asking for perfection, you were asking for something real, a connection where your spirit could rest, a relationship that felt like home and heaven at the same time. You asked for someone who wouldn't just enter your life, but build with you, grow with you, and heal with you. Someone who wouldn't just love your presence, but understand your purpose. Someone who wouldn't fear your depth, but dive into it willingly. And now, that prayer is turning into manifestation. Heaven heard you, and heaven responded. You are stepping into a season where what you once hoped for is becoming your reality, where your patience is being rewarded, where your inner healing is creating outer harmony. You're not just receiving a person, you're receiving confirmation. God is about to place someone in your life who reflects everything He promised. They won't arrive with games. They won't come with confusion. They won't trigger the old wounds you've worked so hard to heal. They will come with clarity, with honor, with presence. Their words will match their actions. Their love will be felt in both silence and sound. Their energy will speak, "I've been sent." This person isn't coming empty-handed. They're bringing more than romance. They're bringing vision, direction, covering. They're coming with movement, prepared to help you elevate, build, and step fully into the version of yourself that God always intended. Your lonely nights are making way for destiny-filled days. Your season of sowing is birthing a season of harvest. You're about to walk into rooms you once prayed for. You're about to love and be loved without fear. You're about to enter a partnership that mirrors heaven. But here's the key. You must prepare. Prepare your heart. Clear the space. Let go of old attachments, expired soul ties, and limiting beliefs. Make room not just in your schedule, but in your soul. Because what's coming requires capacity. It's not just restoration, it's elevation. This is your answered prayer walking toward you. This is your divine promise becoming flesh and blood. This is love as God intended it, holy, healing, and heaven-backed. So stay ready, stay expectant, stay aligned. Because what you prayed for is no longer a distant hope. It's knocking at your door with purpose in its hands and your name on its heart. Chosen one, your season of isolation has come to an end. Your prayers are being answered, your steps are being ordered, and your heart is about to experience a level of love and stability that only God could orchestrate. It's time to believe again, to expect again, to open your heart and get ready, not just for love, but for a relocation that shifts your entire life into divine alignment. God isn't just sending a soulmate. He's sending a destiny partner who will carry you into your next chapter. And it's happening soon. You've waited, healed, grown, and now heaven is responding. This divine union will feel like coming home to a place you never knew you needed. The timing, the connection, the peace. It will all confirm that this was God's plan all along. Get ready to walk into a season where everything changes. Doors that were once closed are opening with ease. Delays are turning into divine acceleration. What felt stagnant will begin to move swiftly, and the love entering your life will not only comfort you, but activate you. This is your harvest season. You're not just attracting a partner, you're stepping into a divine covenant, a union filled with purpose, alignment, and supernatural support. This next chapter is about divine completion. The missing piece is being sent, not to fix you, but to join you. You'll no longer walk alone. Your purpose is being partnered on purpose. This person will match your energy, match your prayers, and honor the anointing you carry. They're not coming to distract you from your assignment. They're coming to build with you. You'll know them by their spirit, by the peace they bring, and by the way your soul exhales in their presence. This is divine timing unfolding.